Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to this introduction to QTLS webinar with myself, Ellie. I'm the membership manager for SET and ETF. We're joined today by Berta. Do you want to say hello, Berta?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
And also by Tony, who is from Wiesmann Climate Solutions and a recent QTLS graduate. Berta's going to lead us through the webinar today. We'll have some time at the end for any questions. So if you do have any questions as we go through, please do put them under the Q&A tab. We also have the chat function for you to chat as we go through and put any kind of comments or reactions in there. I'm going to hand over to Berta now, and we'll see you later on for some questions. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Ellie, and thank you everybody for joining us this afternoon for our Qualified Teacher Learning and Skills Status webinar, QTLS. My name is Berta Miguez, and I am the Standards and Status Manager at the Education and Training Foundation. So this afternoon, I am aiming at giving you quite a lot of information about who we are, who is the ETF, who is the Education and Training Foundation, and what we do. And then we will have a closer look at QTLS. What is QTLS? What you need to be eligible, how it can help you in your career, how it can help you to continue growing the impact that you are already having on your learners, colleagues, and also in your organization. We will look at the application process, at the time scales, and at the requirements to undertake the program. So to start with, who is the Education and Training Foundation? Who is the ETF? We provide a pathway of professional development for teachers, trainers, leaders, educators across the further education and skills sector. We work in partnership with the sector and we inform sector change. And our work is aligned to our 4 strategic goals, which are driving professionalism, improving teaching and learning, championing inclusion, and enabling sector change. As the professional body and membership community for the further education and skills sector, we are dedicated to supporting your professional growth at every stage of your career. So as a member, you will have access to a number of benefits, as well as a supportive community of like-minded educators, other teachers, leaders, managers, and educators in general. So the most significant benefits of membership are on the right-hand side of your screen right now. We have the Intuition magazine, which is a quarterly publication packed with research, news, and innovation across the further education and skills sector. We have QTLS and ATS, which are part of professional development. QTLS is the focus of today's webinar, and these are your professional status, your professional development. The Mentor Me platform is brilliant to receive expert advice on pedagogical skills, on teaching and learning, and also on what is happening across the further education and skills. It's a peer-to-peer mentoring platform where you can register either as a mentor or as a mentee. And the reading room is an e-library which literally holds thousands of resources, books, journals, magazines, everything about education, and includes the latest sector research. There are many other benefits of becoming a member, and you can find these in our membership page on the SET website and the ETF website. Let's have a closer look at QTLS now. The current educational environment is marked by change at the moment. So adaptability and ongoing professional evolution are key, not only to to the development of your own professional practice, but also to the development and support of your learners. And QTLS offers you that path to grow the impact that you are already making in the professional lives of your learners and their employability, and also on your colleagues, and also on the impact that you are having in your departments and your organization. I'm going to show you a video that outlines all of this a little bit, and also outlines the reason why professionals in the further education and skills sector chose to undertake the program. Let's have a look.
So what inspired me to kind of move into QTLS, I just completed my level 5 diploma in education training over the 2-year course for that here at the college, and kind of very much felt like I was already there at the end of that process, so why not go that extra kind of 6 months further and obtain that QTLS. Is something that was kind of held in high regard here at the college. And there were a few other people who had done the same course that I'd just done moving forward onto it, and so it was kind of felt like a natural progression to do it, which was really handy, and it was kind of, there was momentum built through doing the level 5 that then took me kind of forward into QTLS.
The QTLS was really getting that recognition in the post-16 sector, then being in a position where I felt empowered to then share the good practice that I'd learnt, do things in the classroom which helped and benefited my students, tried new ideas, and I think that's another thing that made me quite brave to try new things. If I was speaking to someone who's thinking about getting their QTLS, I would say to them that it would give you the ability to be more reflective as a practitioner. You will also feel that you are defined by a set of professional standards, and it will then help you move forward within the teaching profession, because it's about that wider professional development. It's not just about you teaching a group of learners, it's about the whole sector, and you get that from the QTLS.
The video already shows you a little bit of the benefits that the program has got for teachers. We have heard from 2 QTLS holders in the video, and also an outline of what it gives you, basically. But in addition to that, there are other benefits that you will gain from undertaking professional formation leading to QTLS. You will have an opportunity to continue developing your teaching and learning strategies, because this is a developmental framework that is closely tailored to your own areas for development. You start the process with a self-assessment of your practice, and that will inform you where you are at that point in time compared to the professional standards, to the 20 professional standards. So it's very much tailored to your own developmental needs. Is a further formal recognition of your status as a professional teacher within the further education and skills sector. It opens doors to future career opportunities, and is also one more opportunity to develop your digital skills and to work collaboratively with colleagues that probably you do not work with on a daily basis. The process is very much tailored to your needs, collaborative, is also very reflective, as one of the QTLS holders mentioned in the video, and also fosters innovation, promotes innovation. From a practical perspective, QTLS has got legal parity with QTS, and you will be allocated a teacher reference number once that you have been awarded, provided that you do not yet have one. And in time, once that you are at a later stage in your career, QTLS could provide a natural progression route towards ATS. The program also has a number of benefits for your organization. It's a way of improving standards in an efficient and cost-effective way, and it demonstrates the organization's commitment to excellence and offers career progression routes for teaching staff, as well as a culture of collaboration, innovation, as we saw earlier on, is a very reflective, self-guided, focused on your individual needs and also on the needs of your organization. It's a very flexible process to support those different needs that the different participants will bring to the program. And today we have invited a teacher who is also a QTLS holder and who kindly agreed to tell us a little bit about the impact that QTLS has had on her practice. Tony, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Hiya, how are you?
Good, thank you. Tony is a QTLS holder, so she went successfully through the professional formation process. Tony, first of all, what motivated you to take QTLS? Why did you want to take professional formation leading to QTLS?
So it had been a couple of years since I did my Cert Ed, and I'd done that with in the FE sector in a college, and I'd since then moved into I actually worked for a boiler manufacturer in their training department, and we introduced where we were doing some certified courses, and I felt like in this sort of area of the sector that we are very much viewed as being trainers rather than teachers. And I felt like we needed to improve some of the delivery and things like that, including my own skills and delivery, and refresh some of the knowledge that I'd learned during my Cert Ed and align myself again with the professional standards and just do some really reflective looking into how we taught things and things like that and how we could improve and then basically offer more to our learners, because I think quite often where I work for a boiler manufacturer where we're providing certificates within a specific industry, it kind of gets viewed as very much a lesser version of learning for people. And I don't want it to be viewed like that. I want it to be viewed as just as credible as going to a college or doing and taking the time as any other education. So for me, it was so I could have the professional status to then be able to say to people that were coming into our training and say, look, this is good quality training. It's not just come in and see us and walk away with a certificate that you haven't earned. You will walk away with having learned something with teachers that have, taken the time to ensure that they're delivering the information to you in the best ways possible that help you learn. And a lot of the people that we have in through our doors have been out of education for an awfully long time. So for me, it was sort of looking into how I could improve it for people that are maybe not in that learning mindset and get them back into it quite quickly. So it was that kind of motivation to sort of improve, I think, for myself and the industry and where I actually work as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Tony. And how did that work? I mean, if you had to comment on the main single impact that professional formation had on your own practice and on your learners, what would that be?
I would say it's greatly increased my confidence in the way that I'm delivering information. So I sometimes used to doubt whether I was delivering it in the best way that I could, you know, whether I'd actually remembered the theories that I'd learned during my cert ed and was using them efficiently and things like that. So it actually, having that time to reflect on the way that I was delivering things and having that time to actually look back at what I was doing and potentially spot areas for improvement, actually the main impact was in my confidence and knowing that I am doing it in a way that is helping people. Mm-hmm. Because for me, that is what it is. I want to transfer the knowledge that I have and give somebody something that they can walk away with and then apply in their day-to-day life and make their lives maybe easier, you know, help them to understand things that they may not have understood before. So my main impact was it impacted my confidence to make sure I was doing the best thing for the learners.
And did you notice any impact on your learners? I mean, it might be still early days because sometimes impact shows immediately, but sometimes it takes some time to show, to come through. Have you noticed yet any impact on your learners?
Yeah, so I think it's improved the feedback that we're getting, that they feel like they are sort of, when they're in the classroom, it isn't just me reading from slides, it is me sort of taking the time to understand their needs, ask them what it is they need from the learning, where their starting points are and things like that. So I'm not just launching into something that, you know, they've potentially been in a classroom prior and felt like they've just been talked at and not actually been taught. So I think that feedback started to come through, that the way that I or we deliver now training is a little bit more tailored to the people that we've got in the room. So we're doing that, you know, sort of dynamic. When we get them in there, we're sort of finding out where their starting points are and using that to help build on their knowledge that they've already got. Whereas other institutions might just, you know, if they've not got people that have got that experience and that knowledge for the how to learn, can very much feel like they're just having information thrown at them rather than considering their own starting points. So I think that's the feedback that started to come back. So hopefully that carries on improving as well.
Yeah, definitely. And that is a really a key point as well. And today in the audience, we may have many teachers who are considering to undertake QTLS either with the next cohort or in the future. What advice would you give them? What advice would you give an applicant who is considering to undertake QTLS either at this point in time or a little bit later in their career?
So for me, I think it would be to choose yourself a focus area, because obviously there's so many areas that you could work on, and that you could end up being over doing this bit 1 minute and then another bit another minute. And then when you get to the end of doing this professional formation period, you've got bits all over the place. For me, it was very much at the start, identifying the focus of where I wanted this to take me, and then keeping that thread running throughout to make sure that I was building on things rather than just doing one bit here and one bit there. So it was having that constant focus and thread and a theme throughout my formation to make sure that I sort of aimed for what I wanted to get from it as well. So it would be to just choose at the very start a theme or a focus for your QTLS sort of formation.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. That's a really, really good piece of advice, because professional formation is a journey, it's a developmental journey. As you say, it's not about having little pieces here or there. It's about choosing that focus, and that focus will be informed by the initial self-assessment that you do at the beginning of the process, and that is going to inform the rest of your journey and give you that consistency and that focus to demonstrate that developmental thread that runs throughout the program. So thank you so much, Tony, for your time today. Thank you for being with us. And we hope to hear more about your how your journey continues in the future.
Yep, no problem at all. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, what is QTLS? And before I share the next pieces of information with you, I would like you to type a few comments in the chat about how much do you already know about the program? How much do you already know about where QTLS fits into your career journey? What is it? How does it work? What is the eligibility criteria? When can you apply? And how? What evidence is involved in the program? I will pause now for a minute to give you a little bit of time to type your answers in the chat. Yeah, thank you for sending your answers in. Some members of the audience know they need a supporter, that's right. Others say they do not know anything, that's perfectly fine. We will help with that today. Okay. The dates as well. Okay, that is recognized, yes. Don't know what the portfolio actually looks like, no problem. I will show you a quick snip of that. You need to have a level 5 diploma, some knowledge. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, that you need to have a level 5 qualification in teaching. Brilliant, excellent. Yeah, there are a couple of questions about teachers who would like to take QTLS while working overseas. We will look into that as well today. Brilliant. Okay. Excellent, fantastic. Yes, so there is a range of knowledge from those of you, this is your first contact with the program, to those of you who have already been exploring and investigating what the program can offer you. Let's have a look first at where QTLS sits in the wider career journey of a teacher in further education and skills. Teachers will first do their level 5 teacher training qualification, and once that they have completed their qualification and they have received the certificate, they can register to undertake QTLS provided that they are eligible, and we will look at the eligibility criteria a little bit later on. So QTLS comes after your level 5 teacher training qualification. Once that you are at a later stage in your career, at an advanced stage, you may also want to consider ATS. ATS stands for Advanced Teacher Status and is comparable to Charter Teacher. So QTLS, which if we had to compare it to another program in education, that would be the newly qualified teacher year for QTS. QTLS sits after you are a qualified teacher, after your teacher training qualification, and before you are at that advanced stage in your career when you are ready to coach and mentor others, to influence the organization, to do research, and to support others through CPD, which would be your ATS, Advanced Teacher Status stage. So QTLS is not defined as a course or qualification. It's something different. QTLS is a professional status. It's a badge of professionalism that you achieve after a developmental process that we call professional formation. So, professional formation is the developmental process, it's about 6 months, and QTLS is the professional status that you achieve after you have successfully completed professional formation. And this program is for teachers, trainers, educators in the further education and skills sector who wish to demonstrate how they continue to develop their practice after they have completed their initial teacher training qualification, their level 5 or higher teacher training qualification. The program is underpinned by the professional standards, and many of you will already be familiar with the professional standards. You are probably using them within your organizations and within your everyday teaching. But a copy of the professional standards can be accessed in the ETF website, in the Education and Training Foundation website. One of the questions in the chat was about teachers who had either qualified overseas or who are currently working overseas. If you are currently working outside the UK, technically it is possible to undertake QTLS, but there are a number of things that you need to consider. QTLS is officially recognized only in England, and you need to be teaching a British curriculum in order to be eligible. It's also underpinned by the professional standards for teachers and trainers in the further education and skills sector in England. So if you are teaching outside the UK, the organization where you are teaching needs to be very familiar with these standards. And also primary school and higher education settings are not suitable for QTLS. Secondary school settings can only be considered in some exceptional circumstances that are listed on the QTLS website. Now, if you qualified outside the UK, you will need to provide a UK ENIC statement of comparability during your application process. The statement of comparability will inform how the qualification you hold compares to an equivalent qualification in the UK. So if you hold any qualifications that were awarded outside of the UK, you will need the UK ENIC statement of comparability. And you will also need a copy of the original certificate and the transcript for the qualification that you would like the QTLS team to consider for you. Looking at timescales and eligibility for the program. The program has got 2 stages. The first stage is the application stage, and the second one is professional formation. Professional formation is the developmental part of the program. It's where you demonstrate how you continue to develop your practice. It's where you choose that area of focus that Tony was telling us about, and where you demonstrate that developmental thread that Tony was talking to us about as well. So the first stage, the application, if you are considering the next window, the applications are open at the moment until the 20th of October. Once that you have submitted your application, it will be reviewed and you will receive the outcome of your application by the 27th of November. If your application needs a little bit more evidence, you will have a short period to resubmit the additional evidence until the 5th of January. And if you need to resubmit, the notifications of the resubmission results will be issued on the 12th of January. If your application is successful, you will then progress to the second stage, which is professional formation. As we said, is the developmental part of the program. And professional formation will start on the 26th of January, when you will receive your e-portfolio. And you will submit your portfolio on the 30th of June. It will be reviewed in July. and the results will be released on the 6th of August 2026. So this is the timeline for the next available cohort. It follows a similar timeline every year, although there are some changes on the exact dates depending on the year. To be in the program, you need to meet a number of criteria, a number of eligibility criteria. And one important point to note in here is that the eligibility criteria is reviewed every year in collaboration with the Department for Education, and it also considers the feedback that we receive from the sector. The sector is continuously evolving. The needs in the sector will evolve as well, and the program will evolve to continue to meet those needs. So the eligibility criteria I'm going to share today are for the next cohort, which will start in January 2026. However, if you are considering to join a future cohort in 2027 or beyond, we would advise that you have a look at the criteria on the website, as there may be some changes. So here is the criteria, and this is also on the QTLS website. You need to be a member of SET, and you need to be in a paid teaching position where you are teaching groups of 5 or more learners, where all the learners are 14 years of age or older. And you need to have secured a minimum of 230 hours of teaching practice over the 6 months of the professional formation program. That is between January and June. If you are working in a setting where you teach groups of only 2, 3, 4 learners, there are some additional exceptional circumstances that I will tell you about in a minute. But first, let's look at the core eligibility. In order to be eligible, you also need to have identified a supporter. A supporter is a mentor, is a critical friend who is going to help you throughout your journey, share their experience, point you in the right direction, challenge you, help you to see your work from different perspectives. And you need to be working in a paid role. So unfortunately, voluntary positions do not meet the criteria for QTLS. In terms of qualifications, you need to have your level 2 English and Maths qualification, and you need to have received as well the certificate for your level 5 teacher training qualification. In terms of subject specialism, you need to hold a level 3 or higher subject specialist qualification for every subject that you teach for 5 or more hours per week. Although you may be in a situation where you teach a number of subjects and none of them is up to 5 hours per week. So what happens in that scenario? Well, you will still need to hold at least one subject-specific qualification at level 3 or above in one of the subjects that you are teaching. And if you are teaching in a same setting within a further education and skills sector, you may have a level 3 qualification in any subject. However, during professional formation, you will have one extra activity to complete. You will need to work on professional standard number 11 as part of your CPD, because this is related to SEND. So this is the core criteria. And the core criteria is also described in the QTLS website. You may want to have a look after the webinar. Now, group teaching. We mentioned a minute ago that you need to be working with groups of 5 or more learners for 230 hours for the duration of the program, and all your learners must be 14 years of age or older. If you are working in a setting where you have smaller groups, you may be eligible in some exceptional circumstances, but your employer needs to provide an agreement where they confirm that you will have opportunity to access teaching and learning with bigger groups, with groups of 5 or more learners during professional formation. And having access to teaching and learning means that you may be teaching, co-teaching, or observing teaching with bigger groups. And you will also need to complete one additional activity during your program, during your professional formation journey, where you will reflect on the teaching skills and practices that are required for groups of different sizes based on educational theory and research. And of course, you also need to meet all the other criteria. This information is also in the QTLS website. So if you are in a situation where you are teaching smaller groups, please have a look, because in some circumstances, you may be eligible. Let's look at what the process looks like. In the chat earlier on, a member of the audience said they don't know what the portfolio looks like. Okay, the portfolio, there are two portfolios, the application portfolio and the professional formation portfolio. So in the right-hand side, you can see the menu of activities for the application portfolio. You will need to tell us a little bit about you. This is factual information, your name, email address, membership number, and also the name of who is going to be your supporter, who is going to be your mentor. You will then need to provide a brief narrative about your role and responsibilities at work, upload your qualifications, and then your supporter, your mentor, will complete a statement supporting, endorsing your application. If the application is successful, you will move to professional formation from January to June, where you will find the activities that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen. You will start your journey with a self-assessment of your practice, and this self-assessment will inform your professional development plan, will provide that focus that Tony was talking about earlier on, and will set the direction of that developmental thread that Tony was also mentioning. So the self-assessment will inform the professional development plan, which are the planning of how you are going to continue developing. And then you will spend most of the journey completing CPD activity, developmental activity, which will be logged in your CPD record. And the CPD record will directly address those areas for development that you initially identified in the self-assessment and that you drafted in the professional development plan. Towards the end, you need to produce a critical reflection narrative, which is a reflective text, a reflective narrative on how the CPD that you have been undertaking has had an impact on your own practice and on your learners. That will be followed by a final action plan that is future looking. So in the final action plan, you will identify how you wish to continue developing after QTLS. And finally, your supporter, your mentor, will complete a supporting statement endorsing your journey and endorsing your portfolio. So this is in a nutshell what the program involves and what the portfolio looks like. And the process is self-guided, is very tailored to your own needs, and your main source of support will be your mentor, will be your supporter. However, we also have a range of mechanisms to help you and to walk the journey with you. We have our customer experience team who are at the other end of the telephone to answer questions. We have webinars and Q&A sessions during the program. We have a number of newsletters to support the webinars, a dedicated inbox to answer your queries, and probably the most helpful feature will be the help button that is built into the portfolio. So at the top, there is a little tab that says help. You click on it, a little window pops up, and you can type your question that will be automatically sent to the QTLS team. And the portfolio also comes with a section called the knowledge base, where you will find all the guidance you need for a successful completion. Let's now look at the application process. How can you apply? The first stage is to be a member of SET. Once that you are a member, you need to check your suitability online, and this is a link that you will find in the QTLS website that takes you to an online template where you answer a number of questions. You also need to check the eligibility criteria on the website to make sure that your professional circumstances and qualifications meet the requirements for the program. And once that is done, you can apply online. The fee for the application is £50, non-refundable, and successful applicants who move to professional formation, which is the second stage of the program, the fee will be £545. That is in addition to the £50 for the application. I'm aware that I am sharing lots and lots of information with you. You will be able to listen to the recording later on if you would like to focus in any of the aspects, and also is on the website. So basically, QTLS, Professional Formation Leading to QTLS, is not a course or a qualification, it's a developmental process for teachers who want to demonstrate how they continue to develop their practice in further education and skills. And it leads to a professional status. It's a very reflective process, very collaborative. It promotes innovation and is very tailored to your own developmental needs and also the needs of your organization. This is most of the information I would like to share. In a minute, I will share how to become a member if you are not yet a member. But before, I would very much appreciate if you could complete the survey in your screen. We would like to hear about your experience today, because your experience and your feedback will help us shape our webinars and our content and make sure that is relevant to as many teachers in further education as possible. So if you have a mobile phone with you or another device, please scan the QR code. If not, I think there is going to be a link in the chat shortly. Okay, and while you do that, I will also share some information on how to join membership. If you are a member, brilliant, thank you. If your membership has lapsed, you will find the renew button at the top of your SET dashboard. And if you are a new member, if you are not yet a member and you are interested in joining our supportive and innovative community, you need to log on to the SET website and click on the join button. After that, you will have an online form with a number of questions all about yourself, your qualifications, and your experience and employment. Thus, if you want to go through the website, alternatively, you can just scan the code that you can see on your screen as well to join. That is most of the information, all of the information I was aiming at sharing today. Do we have any questions from the audience?
Thanks, Berta. That was really informative. We do have some questions, yes. Someone has asked in the Q&A, said, I hold a PGCE in ESOL. I have over 10 years of teaching experience. I've previously worked as a program leader, but I stepped down after taking maternity leave for a year. At this stage in my career, would it be more appropriate for me to pursue QTLS or ATS?
Now, QTLS and ATS are two different programs. ATS is usually for teachers who are already working in an advanced position. What we understand by an advanced teacher for ATS purposes is a teacher who is in a position where they are formally coaching and mentoring their colleagues as part of their role, and where they are in a position where they can influence the direction of teaching and learning within the organization and carry a research project, deliver CPD to others. It's basically a situation where you are working beyond your classroom, beyond your learners, beyond your department, and across the organization. So it will depend very much on the opportunities that the teacher has at the moment to meet that criteria. QTLS gives you legal parity with QTS. ATS gives you parity with charter teacher status, basically. So there are two different types of program.
Great, thank you. Emma has asked, for those teaching in a SEND setting in schools, you mentioned the need to meet the exceptional circumstances in relation to the technical and the vocational subject taught. Could you please clarify what the exceptional circumstances are?
Basically, if you are working in a school, you need to be teaching one of the technical and vocational subjects that you will find in the website. On the QTLS website, there is a list of subjects. So if a teacher is teaching post-14 or post-16 learners in a school, they need to be teaching one of those subjects for the 230 hours of required teaching practice. For some of the subjects in that list, it says post-14. For others, it says post-16. So depending on what you are teaching, you need to look at the list and say if it is post-14 or post-16. Those who are teaching in a SEND setting in a school, the circumstances for schools apply. So they need to be teaching learners who are either post-14 or post-16, depending on the subject, and they need to be teaching one of the technical or vocational qualifications on the list.
Great, thank you. And is that different if anyone is teaching in a SEND setting within FE and skills?
It is different because for schools, the school's circumstances apply. For further education and skills, if they are teaching in a SEND setting, they may have a level 3 a level 3 subject specialist qualification in any subject, and they can be teaching pretty much any subject or any setting within FE and skills. So for schools, the exceptional circumstances for schools related to teaching technical and vocational qualifications apply even to a school SEND setting. Usually, if a teacher is teaching in a school, the QTS route is designed for teachers in school. So they may want to consider QTS because that route is going to better support their own career development and also the age groups that they will be teaching in a school.
Great, thank you. Anna has said, I teach GCSE Maths at an FE college. If I successfully obtain QTLS, will I be able to work in a secondary school if QTS and QTLS are equal?
QTS and QTLS have legal parity. That means that QTLS holders may teach in some schools. However, from a school's perspective, it will always be the decision of the employer. The employer will have their rigorous recruitment processes, and they will look and consider that the teacher actually trained in a further education and skill sector, and that they achieve QTLS, and see how that is relevant to the setting, to the context, to the general context of their own school. So they do have legal parity, but it's always the employer, the one who will make that decision.
Great, thank you. Penelope has asked, if we apply and are successful, can we delay the application to next year if necessary?
At the moment, unfortunately, not, because the circumstances may change next year. So the application requires a number of criteria. So, for example, this year, a teacher may have secured 230 hours of teaching practice, but next year, it may change. It could be more or it could be less. So they may be teaching a certain subject where they hold all the qualifications. That may change next year. So at the moment, unfortunately, the application stage links to the next available cohort. So being eligible at the moment, as per today, this month, will not guarantee being eligible in a year's time. Also, the eligibility criteria is updated every year, as well as we mentioned before, in collaboration with the Department for Education.
Great, thank you. Jackie has asked, can you complete QTLS as a volunteer teacher in an FE college?
No, according to the eligibility criteria, you need to be in a paid position. Voluntary teaching does not meet the criteria for professional formation.
Great, thank you. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through. There has been lots of questions in the chat. So Zara has asked, if I'm successful in my application and complete the portfolio to the best of my ability, is there still a chance I could fail and not gain QTLS?
That will very much depend on the evidence provided in the portfolio. Once that the participant has completed their professional formation portfolio and submitted it, the review team will consider all the evidence provided from a holistic perspective. They will look at the context and setting where the teacher is working. They will look at the subjects they are working, at the research they have done, at the CPD they have done, and how that CPD relates to the areas for development they identified. They will also look at how the evidence provided is underpinned and informed by educational theory and research. Educational theory and research needs to be referenced in the portfolio. They will very much look at that developmental thread, how well that has been demonstrated. So it will depend very much on the evidence that has been provided to the review team. And the review team will look at it holistically and reach their outcome like that.
Great, thank you. There's also been a couple of questions about the level 3. What if I teach a course, do not hold a level 3 qualification on that course, but have a level 3 in a course I have taught before? And then someone says, can you use a bit more information about having the level 3 in the subject I teach? So I guess just elaborating on that eligibility criteria.
You need to hold a level 3 subject-specific qualification in the subjects that you are currently teaching during professional formation for 5 or more hours. So let's say that if you are teaching 3 different subjects, one of them you are teaching 8 hours, you will need a teaching qualification, a subject-specific qualification for that subject. If you teach one of the other subjects only 2 hours per week, then you will not need a qualification on that subject. But you do need to hold a level 3 subject-specific qualification for every subject that you are teaching for 5 or more hours per week.
Great, thank you. We've had a question. To apply, the website says I need to get confirmation of teaching employment and an endorsement from my supporter. Does that mean I will need my supporter to write and sign a letter to confirm my employment?
The supporter will complete the supporting statement online. So once that the participant has completed their portfolio, both the application and the professional formation, because both portfolios needs a supporting statement, the participant will share their portfolio online with their supporter. There is an online mechanism to complete that sharing process. The supporter has got a dashboard, and they will get an alert on their dashboard to complete the statement. So they complete the statement online, and it comes in the form of a template with questions. So the supporter will have a number of questions, and they need to type their answers directly into the template and then save it and send it back to the participant for submission.
Great, thank you. There's been a question on membership that I can answer.
Brilliant.
Zara has asked, is set membership free whilst I apply, or is it still £80? So set membership is free for the duration of your studies whilst you're studying to complete your ITE. But as soon as you get that level 5, if you want to continue membership, it is then paid for. Our membership year runs from April through to March, and our membership cost is prorated during that. So if you are not currently a member, but you need to join to apply for QTLS, you do need to apply. You need to join as a member before you can apply. But it will not be the full £80 for the remainder of this year. It will be the prorated cost because your membership will run up until March. The program, we've answered that one. Zora has asked, can I include 2 subjects in my application?
Yeah, you may be teaching 2 different subjects. You will need to upload a sort of timetable, type the subjects you are teaching for how many hours, the profile of learners, age of learners, all that information. So you may be teaching 2 different subjects, yeah.
Right, and Sharon has asked, do we need to be teaching accredited subjects?
It broke up. Could you repeat that, Lively? Sorry.
Do we need to be teaching accredited subjects?
In terms of the of your students, not necessarily. So your students may not be studying towards an accredited qualification. However, the certificates that you hold all need to be accredited.
Thank you. Anthony has asked, how can I get a qualified supporter? I've gone through the websites, but I can't find anyone.
You need to appoint the supporter within your own organization, within the organization where you are working. So the participants appoint the supporter themselves. So within your organization, you need to approach a very experienced colleague who you feel will be in a position to comment on your practice, to give you constructive feedback, and to challenge you, and to help you being reflective and critical. It's usually a colleague who is fully qualified. That means that they hold a level 5 or higher teacher training qualification, and who is very experienced in different aspects of further education. So is one of your colleagues within your organization that the participant appoints themselves.
Thank you. We are very nearly out of time. I'm aware there are some questions that we haven't got to yet. If there's anything that we haven't been able to answer, if you just email them over to membership@etfoundation.co.uk, we can come back to you on that. But I've just seen, there's just one more question from Andrew, who says, I teach in a classroom and I teach outside on practical activities such as kayaking or climbing. Can I count the practical activity towards my hours?
As long as it is a teaching activity, yes. And by teaching activity, it means that the teacher is writing the scheme of work, doing all the lesson plan, doing all the assessment, managing the learning environment, managing learner behavior when needed. I mean, as long as the session meets the definition of a lesson, pretty much, and contains all the elements of a regular lesson, practical sessions are also accepted.
Great, thank you, Berta. Just one final question, because I can answer this one as well. Should the supporter be a member of SET? They don't need to be a member. If they are, that's great, but they don't need to be within that. So thank you, Berta. We've just put up one final slide with the contact details there. And as I said, if there is any questions that we haven't been able to answer, do please send them over. We will share the slides after this, and also the full recording will be available on the SET website. Sorry, Berta, anything else from you?
No, thank you so much for supporting today, Ellie, and thank you so much to everyone for joining us this afternoon, finding time in your busy schedules. And I look forward to welcoming and supporting many of you in our next cohort. Thank you to everybody and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.